Hello y'all, my name is Lane Irwin and today I'm going to be talking to y'all about choline and pantothenic acid. Alright, so pantothenic acid is a B complex vitamin and more specifically is a B5 complex vitamin, and it's also a component of coenzyme A, and I know that y'all have probably heard of coenzyme A or CoA, maybe acetyl-CoA in many of the pathways we've talked about before in our other exercise science classes. CoA is used in the synthesis of energy from food sources such as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, which is why we see energy production as one of the functions of pantothenic acid. And pantothenic acid's RDA there is no recommended daily allowance, and its adequate intake for men and women is both 5 milligrams. And the daily value is 10 milligrams for both men and women as well. And over here on the right, you can see a picture of just kind of a generic pantothenic acid supplement that you can find on shelves of any Walgreens, and this one is 500 milligrams per capsule, so definitely getting enough there. Some sources of pantothenic acid found in foods. There's good sources, which are 10 to 19% of our daily value. And then there are also high sources, which are 20+% of the daily value per serving. So the good sources would be things like cooked mushrooms, plain yogurt, non-fat and low-fat, cooked chicken and cooked turkey, and those are both the dark meats of the chicken and the turkey. So at Thanksgiving dinner, when everyone else is avoiding the dark meat of the turkey or chicken, you can go and get some of that and get some pantothenic acid for the day. And then our higher sources would be cooked beef liver, cooked chicken liver, and sunflower seeds. And those are clearly much less popular ways to get some pantothenic acid in your diet. I personally do not eat a lot of liver at all. Alright, and here are some signs of deficiency and toxicity. So signs of pantothenic acid deficiency would be sleep disturbances, impaired coordination, and the impaired coordination is generally can be due to some swelling and tingling in limbs, which makes it it's like trying to walk when your foot's asleep. It's difficult. Muscle cramping, and then of course fatigue and nausea. And there are no documented signs of toxicity, so since there's no signs of toxicity, there is no upper limit that has been established. Alright, so now we're going to talk about choline. And choline is a vitamin-like essential nutrient, so it's generally classified with the vitamins, but it is not actually a vitamin. Choline functions in muscle activation and structural integrity of the cell membrane, and choline actually is used in the synthesis of certain phospholipids that are essential for membrane structure. One of these in particular is sphingomyelin, and that's pretty important for adjusting the fluidity and rigidity of the membrane. And then there's no recommended daily allowance for choline, but adequate intake is about 550 milligrams in men and about 425 in women. And over here on the right, once again, there's a picture of just a general choline supplement. This one is also choline and inositol, and they're both 250 milligrams per capsule. And so I'm sure you can find just plain choline supplements as well without the added inositol in it. So signs of deficiency and toxicity of choline. So choline deficiency is actually pretty rare, but there have been cases of people with choline deficiency who have been found to develop non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And this is generally found in people with alcoholism, but it can be found and those with a choline deficiency, and it's when there's large numbers of fat deposits in the liver, and this can progress and lead to some pretty serious liver problems, and we'll talk about that a little bit more on the next slide. Some signs of choline toxicity would be low blood pressure, diarrhea, a fishy body odor, and this fishy body odor is generally due to the production and the excretion of trimethylamine, and trimethylamine is a metabolite of choline. And so the more choline you have in your system, the more trimethylamine you're going to produce, and this is why you end up with a fishy body odor. And then the upper limit is about 3,500 milligrams in adults 19 and over, and it decreases by roughly 1,000 milligrams as you are younger, and for infants under the age of about 2, there's no way to determine an upper limit for them. And it's actually not recommended for people with pre-existing conditions such as liver disease, kidney disease, Parkinson's, depression, or inherited trimethylaminuria to consume anywhere near an upper limit of 3,500 milligrams. This can lead to some pretty serious health complications, generally involving the liver, and so it's best and it's recommended that they consume under 2,700 milligrams of at least of choline, and you should probably talk to your doctor about safe levels depending on what your current health situation is. Alright, so this is a little schematic of the progression of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And so we start out here on the left with a liver that has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and the little white dots you can see are fat deposits in the liver, and it's accumulating. And about 1/3 of the time, people with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease actually end up progressing onto something called NASH, or non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which is you have the fat deposits, and then you also start getting some inflammation and scarring, and this greatly affects your liver's ability to function. And then NASH can pretty commonly progresses into cirrhosis, and this is when you have just so much scar tissue in the liver, and your liver cells are being replaced by less scar tissue, and so you have really low liver functioning, and oftentimes when you have cirrhosis you need to get a liver transplant. And from cirrhosis it's not as common, but you can actually end up getting liver cancer. So make sure you get your daily choline in, because you don't want to end up with any of this. It's not sound like fun. Some good sources of choline would be beef liver, wheat germ, eggs, peanuts, milk, Atlantic cod, salmon, scallops, shrimp, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. You can see on the little chart over here that iceberg lettuce is also on there. It might be cut off a little bit. Cauliflower. Beef liver is definitely the best source of choline in a diet, but it's probably one of the most uncommon ways to consume it. Eggs are definitely the most common. So eat your eggs, your steak, peanuts. All right, and so the research article that I read and I'm presenting to y'all was determining the effect that choline supplements have on rodents with Down syndrome. And so choline supplementation is known to improve neurogenesis in the hippocampus, which ends up improving your spatial reasoning and function, your memory function. And it's pretty common for individuals with Down syndrome around the third decade, so around 30, they will start developing Alzheimer's and so like dementia and things like that to a moderate degree. And so in this research, they had 4 subject groups. So they had mice whose parents had been giving prenatal choline supplements while mating, and then the offspring were also given choline dietary supplements. The mice whose parents had only been given the prenatal supplements and they were not given the supplements after birth. The mice who were only given the choline supplements after birth, and then those who were given no supplementation whatsoever. And the mice that were used were TS65DN mice, and they are mice with Down syndrome. They have the defect and they have Down syndrome, so they were breeded, and it was to test the neurogenesis in the hippocampus later on. So to assess the hippocampal function in these mice, a radial water arm maze was used. And so it's just exactly what it sounds like. It's a maze with a platform generally placed in the center, and then there's arms that radiate out, and it's in water, and the water was kept at a temperature that motivates the mice to find the platform so that they can escape. So the visible escape platform test was when the platform is very obvious and easy to find. It had a big white piece of PVC piping on it, and there were 5 trials a day for 6 days, and the mice were given roughly 60 seconds to find the platform. And then afterwards, the invisible escape platform test was performed, and this is when the platform is underwater and it's black along with the rest of the background, of the water tank. And the mice were also given 60 seconds to find it, and the platform was moved every single test, and there were 5 trials a day for 15 days. And now for our results. So it was shown that the mice whose parents had been given the choline supplements while mating, and then the offspring had also received these choline supplements, performed best in the hidden platform portion of the radial water arm maze. And this is significant because the hidden portion of the radial water arm maze requires a higher level of hippocampal functioning. So it requires more spatial learning and memory to remember, it was here last time, so it's in a different spot, things like that. And to assess the visual cues that were placed around little red dots on the walls and things like that. And so the greater hippocampal functioning correlates with greater hippocampal neurogenesis. And these results correlate with the statement that choline supplementation before and after birth improves spatial learning and memory in mice with Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease. And this mouse module that they used has a high correlation with the symptoms. The symptoms of the mice has a high correlation with the symptoms and causes of these symptoms that are in humans that have the same Down syndrome and Alzheimer's. So it's looking pretty good for a possible way to improve the hippocampal functioning in humans with Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease. Obviously, there needs to be more extensive research, but I like to think that this is a really good step in the right direction. All right, that is everything I have for y'all. I want to say thank you so much, and y'all have a wonderful day.